So I want to share with you what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and how I maintain my health. For breakfast, I mostly eat nuts and fruits, and I use a high-powered blender to mash the nuts. And first, I boil them, and then I mash them in a blender, and then I mix a lot of fruit in that. For example, banana, apple, guava, avocado. Sometimes I use grapes and watermelon, muskmelon, guavas, as well as you know papita. What do you call it? Uh, Papaya. Also, I use a lot of dry fruits, for example, raisins and uh, dates, um, and some of the seeds, peanuts, almonds, walnuts. And for lunch, I more or less have the same. In addition, a lot of greens, and I eat a lot of beans. For example, pinto beans. Also, white beans, red beans, and green peas, and garbanzo beans, chickpeas. I mostly avoid gluten, and I sometimes use ragi flour and quinoa. Um, Also, I use refined oils, for example, canola, rice bran, wheat bran, and olive oil for cooking. And for the exercise part, I do a lot of walking. For example, I walk up the mountain, down the mountain, and I go to the gyms and do some weight training there. And some of the yoga moves. In addition, I try and meditate every day, and the meditation is a very important part of my life. I like to live in the present moment and focus on the thing I am doing at this time, as well as uh, try try to listen to the other person I'm talking to others. I try to listen and then I try to understand where they are coming from, rather than thinking about my reply to them in the next few seconds. So I try and listen, try to be a good listener, ask for feedback from my friends, and I also listen to look at the feedback which others are giving by their body language and the things which they are not really saying, telling me. So meditation and cooking and sleeping and eating, all these things are therapeutic for me. Also, I involve myself in some kind of educational program or another type of educational program. For example, I try whenever we have rounds in the hospital, I try to take an active interest in the proceedings of the case and try to learn new things. And also, I am pursuing a master's in medicine, family medicine from CMC Vellore, which is a distance education program, and it gives me an opportunity to learn new things, interact with new people. I try to keep in touch with my friends, and I have decided that I will keep in touch with my friends in future. And I have a family life, good family life, spend a lot of time with my family, watching the movies, going around the town, and it helps me unwind and then come back to work with double vigor. And I love going into the sunshine and breathing pure air, and I try to avoid traffic and rush hour as much as possible. Also, stress doesn't augur well with me. I try to be stress free as much as possible by eating healthily, by moving my body, and by meditating and thinking positively. For example, I never say I hope. I say I will. I never say I can't, I say I can. It's the world of possibilities, the world of abundance. And I never use the words which actually are like self fulfilling prophecies. And I try to use words like I can do this thing, and I'm improving every second in my life. And I never use the word I hope. I rather use the word I will do it. And this is already done. This is already finished. I've already cleared my exam, the second contact program. Mm. And I like talking to my friends. And nowadays I'm preparing some PowerPoint presentations to mail them to CMC Vellore.